Hello everybody, it's Holly Dazzle, back finally with my belated second part to my varicose vein series. Go back and watch part 1 if you haven't yet. That's where we treated my great saphenous vein in my thigh with radiofrequency ablation. And this second part here will show the treatment of my continuing saphenous vein down in my calf with the medication called Varithena. So this is morning of treatment. Another little mini update on what my thigh looks like. That's like 2 or 3 weeks post treatment with the radiofrequency ablation. So healing was still continuing to go well. They have you refrain from wearing your socks for a few days before the treatment. So I was a little puffy overall. There's my kitty keeping me company. I was going to sit down and put on a face of makeup so I could cry it off. And there's my prescription. I actually asked my primary care physician to give me a lorazepam prescription so that I could help calm my nerves a bit. It worked a little bit. And then I grabbed an Uber and was off to get my treatment. Here I am waiting for everybody to come in the treatment room. My little shorts and my booties. There's the scary tray of things. The tall canister there is the Varithena medication. And here I am right after treatment. They did not really, in my pre-treatment appointments, explain what the bandaging situation was going to look like after treatment. And they also didn't warn you that you can't bathe for 48 hours after treatment. But they wrapped your leg in this ACE bandage and they put a cotton roll against where they treated with the Varithena to apply pressure and help the vein collapse. I did not know that that was going to be a thing, and that ACE bandage was torture to wear. I couldn't take it off, and I couldn't bathe, and I had to stay that way for 48 hours. And it was awful. The ACE bandage, if you know anything about ACE bandages, you know that they don't apply even pressure, and they don't recommend them for things like compression and binding and things like that, because they don't apply a good even pressure. Really what the clinic should be giving folks to wear after a Varithena treatment is a compression sleeve. But after treatment, I headed off to Mall of America to have a little walk, get my steps in, have my favorite lunch, treat myself for being very brave, and at my favorite birria taco place. And then here's what I looked like the next day. My thigh, I could not get my compression socks over this whole situation, so I put on a knee-length one to help apply a little more even pressure to the ACE bandage, because the unevenness of the pressure was really, really messing with my skin, making it really angry. It's getting like pins and needles, kind of neuropathy type feeling. So by Saturday morning, I was super excited to get out of that ACE bandage. And I was extra excited because I had a performance Saturday night. And that was another thing that it was like, thank God I was able to take it off Saturday morning because I had to perform Saturday night. So I was very grateful that I was going to be able to take this thing off and take a shower and be able to go on my performance on stage, you know, without this thing on me. As you can see, that big cotton roll that was pressed up against my skin. And my skin, when you see this footage, is so mad from having that ACE bandage on. Oh, it's angry. Look at how mad it is. Oh, look at all the stripes. Since I have Ehlers-Danlos, I have that, they call it the skin writing, where your skin, like, you can, like, literally, like, write your name in it, and it'll, like, raise up in a welt. So anything that, like, compresses or, like, cuts into the skin like that, like, my skin is extra sensitive to it. It's just super angry. And not being able to wear, like, my full thigh compression stockings for those 48 hours when I'm still healing from the thigh portion of treatment was really, really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. I really wish they would have used some sort of like a compression sleeve or something that would have been a little bit more friendly to being put on over a compression sock or under one. something that would have helped. And the ace bandage actually cut into the skin behind my calf. You can see it right there. That was actually an open wound from the ace bandage rubbing there. And my skin was super mad about that. I still have a mark behind my leg. I'll probably have a scar from that. But after I got my shower and got cleaned up and took the dressings off, this was the little poke hole that I had from where he entered the vein with the Varithena medication. And that's what the rest of my leg looked like. So it was similar to the radio frequency ablation and how it felt afterwards. Just kind of sore. That's the view up on my thigh. So you can see I have matching wounds on that side of my leg. And you can see the difference that it's starting to make in my ankle there as far as bulging veins and swelling. It's really going to improve as more time goes by. I still had another side of my calf to treat with more Varithena in a couple weeks after this footage. So I just put a little band-aid on that little wound where they had entered into the vein. Overall, that treatment was really fast. It only took like about 15 minutes, so it was pretty quick. It wasn't real great pain-wise. I didn't think that, at least at first treatment, the pain management, oof, that ankle swollen, wasn't great. I don't think. I would have preferred more topical, even though it was more sticks. I would have preferred that. Here's just some more days as the time goes by. You can see the bruising starting to come to the surface from kind of the trauma of treatment. They inject the Varithena into the vein. It's funny, you start treatment kind of tilted forward on the table, like you're going to slide down and off of it, like you're sliding down a slide. And then when they put the Varithena into the vein, then they crank you up and put your feet up above you to help the Varithena get into the vein just using gravity. So that's what it continued to look like. So not a lot of outward trauma, and look at the ankle. Just a few days later, like, wow, you can really see the improvements as the footage goes on. See that behind my knee there, that's the next part of the vein that's going to be getting treated. You can see that it really needs it. You can see how close to the surface it is and on the verge of being bulgy. There's that open skin I was talking about behind the knee from that stupid ace bandage. I'm so glad that when I went in again for the next treatment that they didn't put one of those on me. And just more and more footage as things continue to improve as I continue to heal. A couple weeks after treatment, I went in for a quick ultrasound just to make sure there were no clots and that everything was closing up. And then a week after that ultrasound, I was back in for the second Varithena treatment on the back of my leg. And as you can see there's not 2 cans on that tray. There's the Varithena can, but there was not 2 cans on that tray because they actually used adequate pain relief for me. I have to really hand it to the clinical assistant at my clinic who took such great care of me. After my first Varithena treatment, she had a heart-to-heart with my doctor and said, this patient needs more pain relief. And she made sure that I got topical pain relief for that treatment. The previous treatment he had just used like nitrous to like numb the skin, quote unquote. It didn't. It was awful. It was like getting IVs in your legs with no anesthesia. It was not great. So the second treatment, even though I got poked more times, it was way more comfortable. And I also gave her the feedback about the ace bandage, and she ended up using a product called Coban instead of an ace bandage to wrap me, which applied a much more even pressure because Coban is made for applying pressure. They sometimes use it in like blood draws and things. And that worked a lot better. Skin was less irritated. The pressure was more even. You can see I didn't end up with a lot of marks on my legs from it. Feet are still really swollen after that treatment. Just because I'm unable to wear the compression socks for a couple days. you know, ahead of the treatment and then a couple days after, so my feet got really puffy. But you can see all the little pokes from the anesthesia that it gave me all that bruising from. But gosh, once he got all of that anesthesia in, I didn't feel anything. So it was worth the little bit of pain that gave to not have the super duper pain of the full 16 gauge needle going into my vein without any sort of topical medication applied. So I was really, really grateful for her, and I made sure at follow-ups that I told her exactly what that meant to me, to have somebody advocate for me like that, and to never stop doing that, because that is a big part of what her job is to advocate for us when we don't think we can. So there's more of that bruising from all of the anesthesia, but they had to kind of, the vein branches and goes behind the leg, so they had to kind of turn me around and stuff to try to get views and get into the veins to get them treated. But once again, I mean, a very minimal downtime and a very relatively easy recovery. You just got to do your walking, wear your stockings, you know, listen to what your doctor gives you for your post-care info and follow it, and you'll get really good results. Look at that ankle! It's just shocking to me. Just absolutely shocking. And more bruising as it comes up. A lot of bruising. I bruise pretty easily. I'm fair skinned. Bruising shows up really easily. The varicose veins make me more prone to bruising as well. So it is what it is. That little spot, like, I feel like that was like almost like a blood blister kind of a thing. I feel like you must have like ruptured a little vein during the treatment of it. I was afraid when they did the ultrasounds following treatment that there was like a blood clot or something behind there when I saw that, but it wasn't anything. I think it was just something on the surface. A blood clot would have been like painful and raised and irritated, but that was just a little bump that's slowly getting gobbled up over time by my body. It's still there even a couple months later. A little bit of that dot is still there, but it's healing. So still have some kind of mottling in my skin that I don't think is ever really going to resolve, even all these like weeks later. I think that's just what you end up looking like. It's better than having varicose veins, so I'll take it. A couple weeks later, in for an ultrasound, showing off my beautiful legs. After my ultrasound appointment, I treated myself to some macaroons. There's a place I drove by a million times on the way to my vein clinic, and they advertised as gluten-free, so I said, you know what? Someday I'm going to stop there, and that was the day to celebrate. And then a month later, here I am in the clinic. They give me the hugest shorts. Oh my God, they're so big. I was there for my 1-month follow-up. All right, now we're switching to present day me from voiceover me. It is, let's see, what's the date today? It is Monday, May 8th, so it has been quite some time since my last treatments and my last ultrasound. I'm doing very, very well. Recovery has been pretty much by the book. Everything has gone perfectly. All the veins that were supposed to close up, closed up. There's no more veins that qualify for treatment. We will check back in a year, and unless more symptoms come up or I feel like I need to come back in for any reason, but otherwise we'll just be on yearly checkups to watch especially the right leg, and also to see if there's any more spots in the left leg that come up. There was one vein on the left calf that was kind of you know, doing something, but it was too small to treat, so we couldn't do anything to it. We'll see what happens with time. I'll put in some footage here so you can see currently what my legs look like after all this time has passed. As far as Am I happy that I got it done? Absolutely. Absolutely. It is coming into summertime now. It's been a really beautiful spring we've had. The trees are budding, the birds are chirping, all the little critters are out running around, you know, things are looking really green and lush, and the temperatures are starting to climb. So it is coming into shorts and dresses weather, and I am going to go out and buy a pair of open-toed sandals. I'm gonna go get a pedicure. I am going to wear shorts and dresses and things that I just didn't feel like I could comfortably wear because I either had to go without stockings and then I was really uncomfortable, or I had to go with stockings and then I looked really goofy because they're just not extremely fashionable. I didn't let it stop me from doing anything. I'll tell you what, I went to Disneyland in my compression socks and I was glad to have them that day, but it would have been a lot nicer to not have to. And yeah, that's about where we're at. I just wanted to get this done. Time just keeps slipping away from me. I've been so busy with other things, with my small business, with performing, with life in general, just getting out there and having a really good time. And getting this vlog out has just kept getting away from me. So I'm getting it put out for you so you can see how things went if you're curious. And yeah, that's about it. So happy summer, happy legs out summer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.